Hey you guys, this is tiredg0th, and I wanted to talk with you this morning or this day, wherever you are in the world. I don't know what time it is where you are. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about owning yourself and owning your presence as a content creator and as a person who is in full control of your likeness, right? There are a lot of people who are going to do their best to try to get what you're worth for free. So that means they're going to try to steal from you. They're going to try their best to turn it into a creative project that manipulates your value into something that is for their use. But you're not actually supposed to submit to anything like that, especially if you're a content creator or you're like a personality, a presence. You have value inherently just as the person who shows up as you are. And what people don't want to tell you, because it makes you more valuable as a person, as a presence, as someone who is able to sign contracts on your own behalf to establish your worth. People aren't going to tell you that when you go out into the world, you're not for free, right? They're going to take pictures of you if you're showing up and doing what it is that you are. And you see other creatives, they're going to try to get you to work for free for them, or they're going to try to show up in a way that puts you in a position of becoming a free product for them. We're talking about photographers, we're talking about videographers, people who just think that they're living off the land and taking what they believe is theirs to take for free creative purposes. Now, we're talking about also the distinction between free creative projects and things that are in the process of building, where you're a content creator, a creative, whatever. There are going to be people who want to collaborate with you, but there are also going to be people who take advantage of your presence without giving you the right to consent to it. Now, this is weird in a way because, you as a person, your presence has value. So you need to market yourself. If you're not signing contracts that say, I will show up at this time and be paid for this event, and whatever happens from there, I mean, sure, people are going to want pictures of it, people are going to want this and that. That's way different than you just showing up, doing what you're doing, and having someone show up and try to capitalize on that by taking pictures of you because pictures of you will make them money. You're never going to see that money. So if they never talk to you about it, you have the right to argue that. You have the right to say, no, that's not how this is going to go. Either you pay me or you delete the pictures, right? You delete the footage. Because when you're established, especially when your presence, your personality, the way you dress, the way you present yourself becomes a marketing tool, people are not actually allowed to infringe on that, spiritually or otherwise, right? So if people try to do that to you, you have every right to stand up and complain and be like, get the camera out of my face, delete the footage, or if you want to keep it, offer me a restitution, offer me something. Because what people don't realize is that press requires permission. Did anyone know that? Press requires permission. If you are going to film a movie, you need to request permission from the state. You need to file a petition to record media footage. You need to petition for the permission to do that. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a paper contract all the time, but if even a verbal contract is not established, or even more so, if a verbal contract argues what is happening, that person has no decision other than to rescind, because this is your presence, this is your market tool, this is who you are. Your likeness is being abused if this is not being honored. So I just wanted to put it out there for fellow creators. If you are exceptionally generous, I'm sure that people would be grateful for it, but they're certainly not going to show you so much gratitude as to pay for that. And that's where you kind of need to draw the line and decide for yourself, hey, is it really worth me, someone who has experienced X, Y, or Z, been put under fire for what it is, that I am or who I am or whatever, is it worth it for me to be captured in photos, to have those photos sold without my permission or given to other people to track me if I am not being restored for it, right? And the restoral is what's being argued here. Supposing you're a person who hasn't experienced much of like, stalking trauma or anything like that, that's something that arguably you could be like, okay, whatever. I don't really mind if someone takes a photo of me. But if you're a person who has gone through that, who has established boundaries, and people are still purposely pushing on those boundaries to reflect that your value is still worthless, that is something completely arguable. And that is something that you should be arguing. Because what you're doing is you're shifting into a position that values you as a person. And people don't want that to happen, because then that means that they have to keep up with that. They have to then follow suit and understand that you have a worth. And the whole point for these people who have no respect for your worth is to keep you valueless. So what it is you want to do is you want to ask for the business cards of everyone who dares come into your periphery with the approach of using you for media content that you never consented to. And you just want to quietly approach whoever it is that represents them and threaten to sue them. Because I can speak and attest to the fact that anything that actually happens in the way of this is going to result in a conversation that sounds like, no, why would I delete the pictures? Why would I pay her or him to just show up and take what is valuable of them, which is their presence, their energy, the way that they look, all this stuff? They're really going to try to fight you on the fact that you own yourself. So this is exactly where you say, hey, this is not your territory, this isn't your turf, and this isn't even your decision in the first place. So this is me telling you what it is that you have in the way of options to argue stuff like this. So I'm Tired Goth. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day, and protect yourself, because there are a lot of greedy people who don't understand what your worth is until you start arguing it. And God help them if they try it, because you are a star. You're valuable. Your worth counts for something. And it's not just about the price tag that someone can attach to who you are. It's about the value that you hold for yourself and your experience, and the fact that you show up in the first place. So I hope this helps. I love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.